was Anthem by R&D Bug. RNDBUGG. Hey man, young dude. He in Atlanta right now, but he's out of like Alabama, something like that. But he out here in Atlanta. He been he been hitting some little fire. All right, so we ain't gonna delay it. I just got back from out of town. That's the only reason I didn't hit y'all with a sports video before the weekend. I was ready to do a USC versus San Jose, a Notre Dame versus Navy, prediction, and talk about Colorado a little bit and some season outlooks and predictions with Deion Sanders and those boys. But we're going to get to some of that today. But first off, I want to lead off with calling an insider so we could just talk about a little bit of sports. And, he's going to be a regular staple to the show. So we're going to go ahead and get him on the line. Let's see what's going on with that. We're going to go ahead and once we have him on the line, we're going to start talking about some of this college football. That's what he's a national insider. He does all the sports. He's for RLSN, Real Life Sports Nation. But he follows all the sports, and I call him a lot of the times because he's more of an insider to certain stuff that I'm not. So I'm a real big fan of certain stuff, and he's more of a, he looks at everything. He's not biased, a whole bunch of different things like that. I'm more of a homer. Certain stuff I tell you, like, hey man, don't ask me because I'm going to tell you what I want to say. But this guy right here, he keeps it a buck. And he's always going to keep it a buck because, he's looking at the whole picture. He's not just, a homer, a favorite of anybody. Of course, everybody has their teams, but he's going to keep it a buck. And that's why we call him an insider, because he knows the ins and outs of certain little shit that, most people wouldn't follow. But I'm going to let him go ahead and introduce himself. I think he's on the line now.
What up? It's your boy, Big Homie Pack. Mr. Tap In, Mr. I Know an Insider, Mr. I'm an Underground King.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about. So, I already told him, in the rundown, man, I missed my video last week before the college football, season actually kicked off. So, today, we're going to get into a little bit of the reviews, man. What you want to do, Notre Dame or Navy or USC, San Jose? What you want to get into, man? Some of the better games from a week slate. Okay. So, Notre Dame crushed Navy. Sam Hartman, 4 touchdowns. Had a real showing, man. I think he went out there and told everybody that he's a baller. And nobody knew this guy. And, he's a grad transfer. So, this is like 5th year. He used to play for Wake Forest. So, that lets you know he's had experience. He just was a bum somewhere else or just didn't have the pieces around him, man. But he's doing things over here at Notre Dame. Maybe it just was the wrong coaching. What do you think? What's the outlook for Notre Dame this year, man? They just crushed Navy, absolutely washed them. They're pretty unknown. We do know last year, new head coach. So this year, maybe he's putting it all together.
Shit, I mean, to be honest, I think that I don't really want to talk about Notre Dame until October 14th.
Ohio State.
No, well, yeah, that. First.
When is that? What's October 14th?
Them Trojans. They gotta get past Ohio State first. Look, I'm overlooking the schedule.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, right now they crushed Navy. What was it? 42 to what? 3?
Yeah, 42 to 3 in convincing fashion.
Right. So, next week they got Tennessee State, they got North Carolina State, Central Michigan, a couple teams that they should handle business and, bring their hard hats and just go to work. I'm not going to call them 3 bums, but 3 mid-majors. and then you got Ohio State. So I can see those guys being 4-0 and going into week 5 ready to play Ohio State and having their heads big and chest puffed out and get washed up, man. Or that's the confidence that you need to be able to play Ohio State.
That's
But
exactly what I was about to ask you. Like, do you think the weaker schedule hurts Notre Dame going into week 5?
I think it hurts them due to you're not getting a good look at things. Week 5, and one thing about week 1 and 2, a lot of defenses aren't tackling well. A lot of O-lines aren't blocking well. They're not in that groove. They're not well oiled yet. You got to get a couple, couple offenses aren't going in mid-season form. That's why that's a real thing, mid-season form. So, one thing about it is week 5, who do I have more trust in, Ohio State or Notre Dame at, full capacity?
I will say they are in Notre Dame this year.
And South Bend does good when they have a home crowd. I'm not gonna lie, how they just washed up Navy over there.
Yeah, but that was a whole different dog being back in the motherland.
Yeah, they're 3-0 over there in their Dublin games. They've never lost one over there.
I think, to be honest, I think that trend will probably continue because I don't really ever see them scheduling somebody who they feel will be a threat when they go over there.
Yeah, and I can see a lot of teams not taking that game. You wouldn't accept that unless it was some school that needed the exposure. So yeah, you're right. They wouldn't really have anybody who would threaten their throne over there.
I want to see Notre Dame work a couple weeks. I want to see the quarterback in the system a couple weeks. But I will say this: Notre Dame lost 10-21 last year to Ohio State. And I think that with it being in South Bend and you seeing all that gold and that crowd going crazy, if Notre Dame comes correct, I think they got a chance this year.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Honestly, yeah. I could see that for sure. Well, I guess I would have to say, long as they handle business with Ohio State, like you said, and as long as they can, at the end of the year, do their business with USC. But, on to USC. I'm pretty disappointed in them this week. I mean, they won the game. Caleb Williams threw for 4 touchdowns, 18 of 25 for 278 yards, which isn't a lot of yards at all for 4 touchdowns. I mean, it's a lot of touchdowns for 18 passes, but it's not a lot of touchdowns for 278 yards. I'm actually concerned for them because their defense, man, they gave up 28 points to San Jose State, and that team was a 30-point favorite. They had a 96% chance to win, which they still won, but they were a 34-point favorite, I think, when everything closed up. It started out as 30, and then it ended up as 34-point, to close up. And you guys ended up letting them get 28 points. San Jose State with a 2-quarterback system. The only thing they had going for them, honestly, was a good O-line. All those guys were returning from last year. Everybody returned. They didn't lose one guy on the O-line. So that makes for a mean ragtag team. They had a really good run game. They have 4 different running backs they can give it to. The quarterback, Cadero, he actually ran for 50-some yards himself on a couple attempts. He just broke out the pocket and got busy. But he solidified himself, and it's no more 2-quarterback system. He threw for 3 touchdowns, 198 yards. Like I said, rushed for 52. But he threw 3 touchdowns to one guy, Nick Nash. I'm going to start watching this guy. Because, I mean, this is USC we're talking about. Playing against San Jose State. and you got 3 touchdowns on one of these 4 or 5 star corners, even if it's a 3-star guy, you got 3 touchdowns on him. Why are you at San Jose? You're transferring next year. Somebody just saw that. Just to let you know, brother, you're on your way up.
I'm glad you opened the can. I'm glad you opened the can. 'Cause let me serve it.
Okay, do your thing, man.
Man, I want to call Damani Jackson to the front of the line.
Mm.
Now, he's a sophomore, 6'1", around 190 pounds. In the 2002 class, he's the number 15 player in the nation. Second best quarterback and the number 1 player out of California.
At corner?
At corner. Now, granted,
Wow.
he's coming out of Mater Dei.
Ooh.
He had the injury his senior year. So last year, he was just getting back into things. But, hey, you're a 5-star top recruit, and you've got to lead that secondary better than this. You guys are giving up 396 yards at 6 yards per play to San Jose State. Now, granted, all that's not on the secondary, but...
Wait, how many? Hold on. What was the yardage you just said? I didn't even hear that.
396 yards.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, it's not all on the secondary, but I feel like for USC, they set the tone because we kind of know what to expect up front from USC.
Yeah. Wow. I'm sad about that. I mean,
If teams are doing this, if San Jose State's doing this, the other teams in the Pac-12 right now are licking their chops.
oh yeah. It's going to be open season on these guys. I mean, that offense and Lincoln Riley, coached offense, is formidable. But if you guys can't keep leads, man, some of these guys have just as good defenses as you have as offenses. Like teams like Utah, that's why they've been one of the formidable teams to kick you guys' ass, because those boys are rough and tough. Mountain kids. But, I don't really even want to do too much on USC, man. They got to actually prove something to me this season, and they got to finish up strong with Notre Dame, because as we just saw from Notre Dame, they don't look like they're bullshitting this year.
Yeah, but I want to say this and we can end on USC. They better get it together because they think they're moving on to greener pastures, and they might be moving they just might be moving on to the bottom of the Big Ten.
Yeah. This is factual. This is very factual. You said the bottom of the Big Ten?
It's a slippery slope.
Oh, you talking about the Big Ten when the conference realigns?
Yes, I'm saying they need to finish these last couple seasons strong.
Yeah, because they're always going to be a big draw. That's not going to be a problem. They're going to be a big draw. It's just, will you ever be able to? Because your recruiting is going to take a hit at that point, not your dollars. Your recruiting. People are going to, much rather do. I'll go to University of Texas before I go to Southern California, or I'll go to the other USC, South Carolina, and be the 8th person in the SEC than the 15th in the Big Ten.
I think South Carolina, I think Southern Cal's thought of it, and they think they can make the transition. But what I'm saying is, them dollars, yeah, that looks good. It sounds good. But what do them dollars really mean if you're not winning? I know money rules the world.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have a legacy to protect. Like you said, people are going to pick other schools quickly than go into Southern Cal to be in the bottom of the Big Ten.
Yeah, they're going to go somewhere else very quickly. All right, so we're about to go ahead and move on to a Colorado record prediction, guys. We want to see what their football schedule is. We want to know what's going on with Dion and how much faith we have in these guys this year, because honestly, like I said, I believe they have a really good coach. It's just coming down to, how fast you can implement a program like that, man. It's not easy,
No, it's not easy at all.
So I don't want people to think that I'm poo-pooing on Dion and all of that. It's mainly just I don't think it's that easy to do this type of thing. I'm trying to get my shit together right now. There we go.
I mean, my heart wants to say, they're going to be 7-5, but I think they're going to be lucky to finish 6-6.
Well, I think 7-5, 6-6. Let's see. We're gonna go through the schedule individually real quick, and I'm gonna get your opinion on everything. That way, we come to a decent, schedule prediction. Getting us set up right now, brother. All right, here we go. You're live right now. RLSN, Real Life Sports Nation. He's one of the insiders over there, and you're with Chocolate Jesus, the Chocolate Jesus on YouTube, on IG, Chocolate Jesus TV. So first off, man, we got TCU, the reigning visiting champions. How do you feel about that? TCU, win or loss? And shout out to Stizzy.
Before he was Coach Prime, I loved Prime.
Right.
But man, I think they're at TCU. They're traveling, and I think TCU's nothing to play with.
So that's gonna be one L. What I say about that is those type of athletes, those Texas boys, they'll probably start the season strong. Dion bringing in a new regime. New kids, transfers, they've never played together. College football doesn't have a preseason. You know what I mean? So they're going to start off a little slower than expected. Or what Dion's known for is we're going to shock the world. So if they do that, if they could beat TCU, they've effectively opened eyes, which is phase 1 of shocking the world. But they've got to win that game. If they don't, it's expected. I'm not going to fault him for losing that.
Honestly, I could see it being a 28-23 game.
Okay.
I don't think they'll get blown out, but I think if they win at TCU, that's going to definitely set the tone for the year, and they'll be more towards 7-5.
Yeah, and TCU is coming off of a season where they lost Quentin Johnson, the wide receiver, to the Chargers. They lost their quarterback, Max Duggan. I don't know where he's at. I think he's with the Patriots, maybe backup somewhere. And they also lost 2 running backs. So, like you said, it's probably going to be a low scorer. We don't know, what those guys are working with necessarily. They're an unknown, although they are coming off of a nice national championship campaign, which they didn't win, but they made an appearance, which is pretty good for TCU. Next up, Colorado is going to have Colorado State, the Rams, a good rivalry homecoming type of game.
What about Nebraska on September 9th?
I don't see that. Oh, wow. I absolutely went the wrong way. So mine is going left to right. Okay. So yeah, Nebraska at home. I think they'll beat Nebraska.
I do too.
Nebraska is a bottom tier Big Ten, opponent. So that'd be good for them to actually, work some kinks out, try to get some confidence from a different conference that is known to be better than the Pac-12. That'd be a good one for them. So 1-1. Now Colorado State.
Real quick.
Okay, go ahead. That's why I was telling them before I called you, man. You really are an insider. You know certain stuff about the teams that nobody should.
This ain't even about the team. This is about believing in Prime. Just a side note. I call it the CTC moment. Cut the check.
This guy was good.
Colorado and ESPN. I mean, I haven't did the research, but I could probably say in the last 10 years that probably ties or passes how much they've been on TV because of them.
Yeah, go ahead and talk to him. I'm finna walk off. Go ahead and talk to him about this game. Go ahead and talk to him about Prime.
Against Colorado State.
Shit, you could just talk to him about Prime if you want to. Just talk to him for a second, run down some shit. I'll be back in 25 seconds.
You know, Prime got the boys wearing the shoes. He back with Nike. You know, the money's coming in. And Prime's not greedy with the money, and I like it. So when I say CTC cut the check, you know, we talking big money, big moves. Just not for himself, but everybody around him. His players, the program. Like I said, man, they opening on ESPN at TCU. That's big for Colorado, the exposure. Week 2, they're on Fox. Week 3, they're right back on ESPN. So, even if it is somewhat of a down year for them this year, I think that all the exposure and getting the experience of being in the limelight is going to be good for them, and things can only go up. Things can only go up from here. But yeah, that's brought to you by Real Life Sports Nation. You know, a CTC moment, baby. Cut the check.
Hey, there we go. That's a good one. We're going to always have to give them a couple, CTC moments, man. Whenever we can, we got to make sure we do that. So, what do you see happening with the Colorado State game?
Man, I think, let's just say this. If Shador struggles the first 2 games against Power 5 schools, he'll break out week 3.
Okay. But if Shador struggles versus those 2 other teams, I'm going to have serious concern for the upcoming Pac-12 schedule immediately. They got Oregon, then they got USC. So, if he breaks out in Colorado State, let's just say they're 2-1 at this point. I see a loss versus Oregon just because, like I said, the level of athletes, maybe Deion's guys can make it a good game, but they're ultimately probably going to lose unless Baby Sanders puts the team on his back.
I think that's going to depend a lot on the schedule, too. What is Baby Sanders made of? You know what? This year we're going
I think he's good, but once again, even if he's really good, he can't carry this team to a 9-3 or a 10-2 season. I just don't see him carrying them that far. If they do that, that means that the team gelled together faster than they really should. Because now at this point, let's just say they lose to USC, they lose to Oregon. They're 2-3. We got Arizona State. We could probably beat them.
Yeah, they're coming. They just announced they're not playing in the bowl this year, self-sanctioned.
Yep, self-sanctioned ban for 1 year. Aren't those the Fighting Herm Edwards?
Man, I ain't gonna speak on my man's Tom. I love Tom Edwards. They are who they say they are.
Hey, so they win that 3-3. Now they go to Stanford, which is really a toss-up game and a game that we'll get to see where you are, where you stack up in this Pac-12. Because obviously, let's just say you could be a top 3 or top 4 team if you guys can win this game. Top 5 if you can win this game. You could be worse than Oregon and USC and the other Utah, but you could be better than Oregon State and better than, Stanford and better than Who else? Washington State.
I think they're going to beat Stanford.
Okay, so let's give them 4-3 now. They're back. They're back. Over 500. UCLA up next.
That Stanford game is at Colorado, and I think the boys in Colorado, with one thing, are going to be in shape and take advantage of that thin air up there against opponents when they come to their house.
Yeah. Did you see the breaking news earlier about Stanford, SMU, and I forget the other team, but they're going to the ACC. Not immediately, but when everything happens, Stanford and SMU will be ACC.
Now you know I'm an ACC guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that move.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I love it for SMU.
I think that for Stanford, you're on the Pacific Coast.
Yeah, that's bad. And you're gonna be playing some real dogs. Like the sweet thing about the ACC is they have some of those boys in the trenches from down south, like the linebackers and the defenders, and you see how nice Clemson is and da. But they also have those boys from Florida, like those receivers, and Virginia has a bunch of athletes, DC and Maryland, and it's going crazy in the ACC. It's just they don't have the full culmination of what like the Big Ten and the SEC have as far as regionally. You know what I mean? Like the ACC kind of hits in certain spots. They got good linebackers. They got good quarterbacks. They got some good receivers, some good running backs. But the trenches aren't up there, but they have good players. They got good edge guys. They got good tackles. You know what I'm saying? They got good guys who come out of certain schools. But
Cal's going with them.
who?
Cal's going with them to the ACC.
Yep, Cal. That was the third school. Exactly. Cal, Stanford, SMU. Yep. So I don't like that move for Stanford. I don't like that move for Cal. I do like that move for SMU.
I don't like that team I don't like that move for the teams currently in the ACC. Them are long road trips.
Yeah, but the thing about the ACC is they're begging to get out of the 1 o'clock time slot. Not 1 o'clock, but the early morning time slot. As soon as the first college games are on at like 10 and 11, it's ACC. Clemson plays at first game every week. So they want to be able to go to the West and play some 7 or 8 or 9 o'clock games sometimes and get some real, global attention. I mean, not global, but the countrywide, national attention.
You want to know what this move is starting to make me realize is eventually we're going to only be down to 3, maybe 4 conferences.
Yep. Nope, I got the notes right here. And it's going to be SEC, Big Ten. It's probably going to be ACC, and then everyone else.
But as of right now, until that happens, you're starting to see the 3 conferences that will probably remain expand west. So now the Big Ten has 2 teams out west, so their teams will travel out west for 2 or 3 weeks and get that experience and get that exposure, and the same for the ACC. Now, granted, the schools the ACC grab don't compare to the school the Big Ten grab, but right now we're on a Western expansion.
Right. So when you say it's going to be about 4 conferences, I honestly think it will be. It's not going to be like a Power 5. It's going to be 2 actually, bro. F all that. It's going to be basically NFC, AFC. It's going to get down to that. You're going to have 50 to 60 schools, like Power 5 schools. But it's going to be like major. Well, it's not going to be major. It's going to be NCAA. Like they're gonna go back to like labeling like divisions like seriously how it is. You know how it kind of NAIA, NCAA Division Two. Like it's gonna be like that. But a lot of these other schools who are not Power Five are gonna be bumped down. Like these Boise's and Mountain Wests and all that, they're gonna be FBS 1, not NCAA 1. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna have to make new brackets up and down the food chain to seat some of these people. So, you know, most leagues can have a decent shot at a championship because they're gonna go to two leagues. It's gonna be Big Ten versus the SEC plus something like that. The Big 30, the Big 24, and then it's gonna be the SEC, and it's gonna be 16, 17 games, like a smaller NFL season. Because what I mean by that is 16 to 17 games after the whole playoff. Let's not forget the playoff expansion is happening. So there's going to be more games than just 12-1 records. Like people are going to play 3 games to get knocked off, and still, you know what I mean. So it's going to be lit, but.
I think that it's going to end up being. I think the Pac-12's done, brother.
Yeah, I agree.
I know you being a West Coast insider and you really being tapped in out there. You've probably been hearing it for years, but the Pac-12's done.
I mean, I honestly haven't watched any of the games that I used to. Like, I've seen only USC occasionally, some Oregon games, because Oregon will come out here and play some real people. They'll play Auburn, they'll play Clemson, they'll play Alabama, they'll play Georgia and get waxed first game of the year and show their guys, their players, like, hey, that's what a real game is. Now, should nobody else touch you guys but these guys?
Now, I see that. The rest of the Pac-12 schools, some of them might be fortunate to fall into the Power 5 conference, but I think for the most part, they're going to have to go Mountain West and whatnot. Eventually, I think it's going to be the SEC, the Big Ten. Them two are going to be it for sure. And depending on what the Big 12 and the ACC can do, there's going to be 3 or 4 conferences. Everybody else, like you said, are going to have to be re-bracketed, or they're going to be like Notre Dame and be independent.
Right. Uh-oh, we finna go viral with me coughing.
Wow.
All right. I'm back.
Gas. You know what I'm saying? If you need to tap in, we can get it to you. We can get it there.
Like I said, man, shout out Stizzy, man. Stizzy, man. I've been fucking with Stizzy for a long time, and this is free. That's it right there, Stizzy. It's this shit free. I don't get paid for no Stizzy, but I've been fucking with Stizzy, man. Them boys is off the chain, quality, all that. Like, I just came back from Cali the other day. That's why I wasn't able to give you this video, man. But like I said, man, I'm not gonna do too much on USC and the Pac-12 because honestly, it's been a bad look for a while. The West Coast really loves their football teams, but we don't support them for real. Like we used to. I ain't gonna do all that. I ain't gonna do us like that because we do love sports. I ain't gonna do all that. But like I said, I just got a bad taste in my mouth, so let me not even speak on it no more because it's going to, come out wrong. But
that was a little hot take because that was more so breaking news. So
no, it's a hot take for sure. But the Pac-12 is done. I got that on my notes right here. It say Pac-12. What is going on? Yeah, they're gonna be the Pac-6, and then they're gonna go into the Mountain West, the Mountain Super West. But yeah, man. Like I said, Colorado, back to them. It's really gonna be. I mean, it's a good look for them if they could do something this year. But next year, a lot of people are jumping out, so they're probably gonna have a whole lot of motion over there the year out of the after that, to where they just beating up on these new guys. You know. So it could be a good look for Dion. We're yet to see. Everything will be seen soon. But I see them. What did we say? They were 4-3. Then they got to play against UCLA. So what you giving them versus UCLA? Dub L. Okay, okay. They did lose Dorian Thompson and they lost their running back Charbonnet. So okay, dub. That's 5-4. Well, no, 5-3. Okay. Oregon State at Colorado.
I think. I think they're going. Man, I think they're going. They're going to win that game. I think they're going to be strong at home. They're going to win that game.
Okay, okay. So you got them at 6-3. So then Arizona, Colorado, they're at home. I think they can win that.
I do too, man.
So you got them at 7-3. So you got them winning against Washington State. They're at Washington State.
Yeah, they're going to win that game.
8-3. Now they got Utah to end the year. And if they won all those games, they're riding on some momentum. And this game right here, with Utah being number 14 in the preseason poll, you've already beaten number 16, Oregon State, or they might be 18, Oregon State. You've already beaten you lost to 5 and 15 in Oregon, but you beat TCU. So, well, no, man.
TCU, but they still lost to a ranked team. All their losses would be to ranked teams.
Yeah, all of their losses would be to ranked ones other than Oregon State and Utah. So you saying they're gonna lose this to Utah?
Yeah, I think they're going to lose the last game of the year against Utah. I think a lot of people just sleep on Utah every year, and they're always a sneaky machine.
Yeah, honestly they are. So that's gonna be 8-4. That's a pretty good record. I'm not gonna lie. For this schedule, if you only lose to the people you're supposed to lose to, which would be those 4 teams, you can do crazy. That'd be a good record. Like, man, catch that. Like, that's a wrap. Wrap it up. If that's a pretty good opening year at Colorado, because those guys were 2-10 last year, or 1-11. They were horrible. So if they can do that, man, that'd be pretty good. I don't have them at 8-4. I got them losing to UCLA, and I have them losing to possibly Washington State, because that's going to be a point scoring game. Late in the year, maybe something happens. Dion has to go for a surgery or operation. He misses a game, something. I can see them 7-5. And I'll say they do win against Oregon State, but they only lose to TCU, Oregon, USC, UCLA, and Utah. I'll say 7-5. I'll give them that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun year either way. I think it's big for Colorado. It's going to be big for Prime and his son. And I mean, how dope is that to get to go on the journey together?
Yeah, no, that's for sure. So, real quick, do you want to do a national champ prediction? Who do you see in the title game? And then tell me who you got winning it.
Man, it's looking like, I hate to say this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a hater. I'm just a realist. It's going to be Georgia versus Michigan.
said, I mean, you're a good insider, man. I can see Georgia for sure.
Brother.
I don't. No, I'm gonna ask you the requisite questions though. You just opened another box of worms, brother. But Georgia, I can see them in there for sure. They just lost their quarterback, who he was the magic man, honestly. But they do have Brock Bowers. They just lost their defensive guys, but they do reload. I'll never sleep on a Kirby Smart defense ever in my life. I know what he did for Bama. Nick Saban cried for 10 nights when he lost Kirby, but it was what it was. It was business. And we lost the one guy who could kind of combat some Kirby when it was Lane Kiffin. You know, Lane Kiffin actually combats the Georgia team very well when he plays them. But the Michigan, that's the one that has me perplexed. So I do understand they have the running back. What is their quarterback situation? What is their receiver room situation? And Jim Harbaugh, or is that John? You know, that's Jim. So yeah, Jim Harbaugh, he does not rub me as someone who can get over the hump. He gets to premier competition and folds. Like, soon as he runs into a Georgia or a Alabama, they get scrubbed and shut out in a game. They get 7 points, you know? TCU whooped up on them. And that was just TCU's Cinderella story year. But, I mean, honestly, I'll never have more faith in Michigan than a 10-2 or, you know, 11-1 type of a team that will get bounced in the first round of anything.
Let me tell you something, brother. They played 2 games this year.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, Penn State, and number 3, Ohio State. Other than that, I don't care if they have a 3-quarterback system. They should walk through this schedule.
What's their schedule again, brother? What?
They open up at East Carolina.
Okay.
Excuse me. East Carolina, you know, they get paid a couple dollars to come to Ann Arbor and get their ass kicked. Then they play UNLV.
Ooh.
This is no disrespect to none of these teams, neither.
At all. I understand.
Bowling Green. Rutgers. Like, let's be real.
Oh my goodness.
Most Rutgers even in the Big Ten. More for economic reasons than the product they put on the field.
Wow. So, look at this. I mean, we have this schedule up live right now, so all the viewers can see it, bro. All the nationers, all the Jesus Jesus TVers, all of the networks, they can see this, bro. They see this schedule, and I just want to know: is that why Jim Harbaugh took the self-imposed suspension? Because this schedule is collusion. This is cheating somehow. You only have to play real competition in the end of the season when you're already a well-oiled machine. Like when you're already all cylinders, flying on all cylinders, you're going crazy. Wow.
But you know, you say who do they got? I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah, that's why he took the suspension. I mean, who are they playing? And they're games that matter at the end of the year, which I think they will win.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
What really hurt them last year?
Like I said, what did I say? They would be 10-2. Period. I think Penn State really smoked them last year. I don't know if they won, but I'm just saying I think Penn State had a very good year. Ohio State had a very good year last year. Those two should actually be regressing Because who is the Ohio State quarterback right now? I need to look this up, brother. This is crazy. And my mouse just shut off. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, JJ McCarthy, Blake Corum.
Michigan this year, so they're at home, and I mean, for the most part, they've got their main cast back. McCarthy,
Let's see what Sports Illustrated says against the Ohio State. Oh shit, they got Michigan beating Penn State again. They got Merritt. Oh no, yeah, they got Michigan. Well, they got Michigan beating Ohio State too. Wait, I gotta look at this. See, is Ryan Day known for not being able to beat Ohio State? I mean, Michigan. These guys said, I look for the Wolverines to run it down the Buckeyes' throat for the third year in a row. Oh my goodness. What's the word on Ryan Day? So look, these guys have them winning the Big Ten, only losing to, let's see if they went undefeated actually. Yeah, of course they did. If they beat that first half of the schedule, if they beat the second half of the schedule, they're for sure, yeah. So they got those guys going undefeated.
Ryan Day's 1-2 versus Michigan.
Wow. And when Michigan finally gets their opportunity to beat Ohio State consecutively, they just keep going to the first round of the playoffs and getting bopped on the head.
I think that Jim Harbaugh takes a jump this year. He's getting paid. He's definitely cutting the check. Team Jordan, I see you, boy. But I think this is the year. I think this might be the year.
He better hope so, man. That's scary. That's scary, bro. That's the day after or before Thanksgiving. Maybe 2 days after. We'll see. But that's gonna be a good game to watch for, man. I see those guys losing one or two. Like I said, 10-2. I think they'll lose to maybe Penn State, maybe Ohio State, but that's the bare minimum, 10-2, honestly. National champ prediction for me, I'm gonna say
Alabama.
I'm a homer, but no, I won't say that. I will say Roll Tide. But nah, it's a joke. It's a joke, man. I really can't pick anybody other than Alabama or Georgia, to be honest. But I don't think they'll be able to play each other in the national championship game. But honestly, there is a possibility that can happen because when more teams get in, you have more of an opportunity to miss them and meet up with them later, So I'm going to say Georgia doesn't make it because Alabama beats them in the SEC championship. But it's going to be Alabama versus USC or Texas.
You're crazy.
I know. I'm absolutely ludicrous after I just dogged USC like that.
Yeah. I don't think USC has a chance.
No, me neither, honestly. I don't think Texas has a chance either. I need to look at the rankings real quick before we get off here. because I honestly don't even know the landscape of college football. I know the people and the stats and the coaches and what's happening, but I honestly don't know the full landscape and the scope of things. Like, I didn't know LSU would be close to 5. That's crazy. They're ranked number 5 up here. Florida State, supposedly they're going to be good. That's wild. Oh, Washington is really good. I guess Deion's lucky he doesn't have to play them. I forgot about them in the Pac-12. So you're definitely not top 4 in the Pac-12. You got Oregon, USC, Utah, and Washington up there.
Stop it.
No. Washington is really good. The Huskies, they have to play the other Washington, the Washington State Cougars, who those guys are just an air raid team, but they're actually really good. But I'm saying though, like, Deion is lucky he missed that bullet too, bro. Man, the landscape is gonna be. Dang, you said Georgia, Michigan, because that's the 1-2. So that means I'm going Alabama, Ohio State.
So we just picked the rivals of each other, and that's national championships.
Wow, Tulane is number 24 preseason. Is that crazy or what?
I think they've earned it.
No, I do. I'm just wondering the preseason earned it out of Conference USA. That is crazy. And they only lost a running back last year too, so that might be why. But I mean, these guys preseason 24, usually they have to go 10-0 to get a number 18 bid at the end of the year, you know? So if they can go, so and so and 0 throughout the year, they can really actually have a chance of being in the top 8 or the top 7 to get to the playoff. Some history making shit. But yeah, man, thanks for tapping in with us, big homie, the insider, man, from RLSN, which is Real Life Sports Nation. You guys go ahead and go over there on YouTube, man. Follow everything on the platforms. We're gonna let you know we're gonna drop the links soon. And he's gonna be a regular tap in, man, for the sports show on all the dialects. I'm gonna be coming to y'all later on with another Cowboys roster and cut day segment and all of that. But right now we just wanted to get that college football thing out the way for y'all, man, and introduce you to the insider, man. Go ahead and do your thing, man.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on Chocolate Jesus TV. It's your boy Big Homie Pack from Real Life Sports Nation. Tap in.
Yes, sir. You know it. To get cracking this all that. Let's do it.